Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Say. I'm holding in my hand a Sefer Bein Pesach L'Shvuos, a magnum opus from the Moeridika Golan Rabbi Cohen of Ponevezh. This was a haskama that was written by Rav Lezer Shach. I'm holding it up here in front of the YouTube in Tov Shin Lamed Daled. Let me read it to you, the opening line. This is written in Tev Zayin Sivan Tov Shin Lamed Daled a few years ago, so maybe there's a new Torah. It doesn't apply anymore. I'm being sarcastic. Hine im ki ein li chelik yad v'shem v'inyonim hanogeim l'maisa v'inyoni isa v'hete v'an di Torah tomid v'inyonim hanilmudim v'yeshiva hagedosha. Okay? That's how he starts off. So for the Gadol Hador from 2 days ago, it's gepasst for him to say publicly in Haskama that he's not holding in certain inyonim. Now let me ask you a question. If you have a serious Mara question, do you go to the Lkwd Rosh Yeshivas? Okay, let me ask you a question. If Rabbi Heinemann is an expert in calligraphy and in writing Gittin and in Bosav V'Cholov and in Hilchas Erevin and in many other things, and he's a true Eloi, does that mean that when he gives a haskama to the organization Ora, the modern Orthodox, if even that, the organization to resolve Agunot, that makes get me'usas and chepes people shalei halacha, does that mean that we have to subscribe that since Rav Heinemann gave a letter in his handwritten calligraphy to Ora, that suddenly makes it Daas Torah? Rabbi Say, when Rav Moshe Feinstein issues a letter, and somebody and it's this exact thing, and he says Lamali says ulam kol yemei hearings, and somebody says, you don't have a living Gadol. All you have is Rav Moshe. So therefore we discount this. So I don't understand. How does Rav Heinemann, or for that matter, the Lkwd Rosh Yeshivas, or Rabbi Felder, or Rabbi Bloch, how do they apply a Shach and a Taz today to paskin the halachas? They're being soimach on the Shach and the Taz. So we can't be soimach on Rav Moshe. We can't be soimach on the Shiur Mitzion Halacha, the Debretzina Rav, Rav Avigdor Miller, the Sklander Rebbe, the Kashever Rav, Rav Avadi Yosef, and on and on and on. I have 12 to 15 Gedolim. I don't understand why we're playing like juveniles. Let's switch Gedolim cards. Oh, if we're flipping Gedolim cards, my card is bigger than yours. And even if we're using the juvenile logic of Gedolim cards, everybody knows that a Babe Ruth card is much more choshev than a Mickey Mantle, because Babe Ruth was a Kadmon. So I don't understand something. The whole Messiah is built on previous Gedolei Yisrael, and this is open and shut. Here we have hair-splitting things that all Shiloh Chubas are hair-splitting, what the Avnei Nezer meant and what the Ketzos meant, etc. And now all of a sudden, when there's a blatant Rav Moshe saying it's a mitzvah shebegufay, go out and show lahares goli l'chol ha'am she'am soni tayeva, whatever tayeva takodesh baruch hu, all of a sudden it's beyond our ability. I once had a call. I was driving on a highway. At that time, I was raising cane in Eretz Yisrael to stop the Mishkav Zacha parade. And I came back between Lag BaOmer, and I went back after Lag BaOmer. I issued Chag Shavuos. I went back to Eretz Yisrael, and I was there for months fighting the thing. While I was in America, I seem to recall, if I'm not mixing up a story, I had a call from the Zakan Rosh Yeshivas today. And he said to me, Herzachain, why? Because Rav Shmuel Bloom from Agudas Yisrael, who had called me in Israel and said, maybe you're making a chil Hashem in the media when you're saying that blood might run in the streets of Jerusalem because of the pride things, and people might get excited, etc., etc. So that's a chil Hashem. We shouldn't protest against the pride thing. Agudah Lishitosam, you understand? So they got this Zakan Rosh Yeshivas to call me up. So when he said this and that, so I told him, I have a letter from Moshe Feinstein. Whoop. So then he said to me, what did he say to me? He said to me, did you speak to Rav David Feinstein? And if Rav David Feinstein has a different personality than his father, first of all, let them go ask Rav David Feinstein. Adarabah, I have a letter from Moshe Feinstein. Let the Olam in Lakewood ask Rav David Feinstein if he agrees with his father or not that there should be public protests, when the matzav now is much worse than what his father was protesting. His father was protesting a thing giving gay rights and employment that you can't fire a Mishkav Zacha. Today we're talking about the schmutz in the libraries, we're talking about public parades, we're talking about laws that are going to push the stuff in yeshivas that are coming down the pike. They already started, and in New York, they're going back to it. So Rabbi Say, Lashon Hara Tam in the Torah and Abar Now Daf Zayin. Let's wake up and do the right thing.